This project was entitled Screen Capture Video Feedback to Enhance Engagement with Laboratory Practical Work, and it was carried out within the School of Biomedical Sciences at the University of Ulster, and draws from existing work that we have done on video in our U-TestTube project, whereby students make brief video documentaries about practical work that they have undertaken and then share those with colleagues within the module. The module in question is BMS 105 Introductory Chemistry, which is a chemistry service teaching module giving foundational chemistry for further study in biochemistry, clinical biochemistry and so on. It's taken by students on our biomedical sciences, human nutrition, food nutrition, dietetics and biology courses, and normally there's in excess of 140 students per year. To promote engagement before coming to lab, we encourage our students to download the protocol, to view a video produced by students in a previous year's cohort giving a preview of the practical to be undertaken, and then to complete some pre-practical assessment before coming to class. Once the practical is finished, students are provided at a later date comments on their individual protocols that they submit, a generic MP3 audio or screencast video feedback file, and then some generic comments in the next practical class to give them some direction. But what we wanted to do was to enhance the learning that takes place before students come to lab. And so we focused upon this particular part where we have a student generated preview video. We decided to add to that a feedback video giving some feedback on the previous practical, but also some learning resources targeted towards the next practical. And this then fed into the pre-practical assessment. So this is just an example of the screen captured video. This is a laboratory protocol which has been marked. You can see the annotated comments, and I simply capture the practical protocol and talk over it, giving some guidance to the students. The second part is then the student generated preview video of the next practical in the series, and this obviously gives students an opportunity to see the type of practical that they will undertake, and many of them have commented this has been a very useful means of preparation for the next practical in the series. The final part then is a short video on learning resources. So in this particular case I've included here some direction on theoretical yield calculations, and the students would complete this and go through this as part of their preparation for the following practical, and this would then feed into some of the pre-practical assessment work. Once the video was created, we then pushed it out to students by means of text messaging with a bit.ly link so that it could be tracked. There was a YouTube version created, and students were also emailed, and there was notifications put on the module website, on the Facebook page and Twitter page for the module. So loads of ways of telling students about the feedback. So not only did we make available a YouTube video, but also a version of the screencast video on the module website, along with an MP3 audio file. So different ways in which students could engage with the feedback. So then the next step in the process was to ask our students what they thought about this process, and we dynamically surveyed students using the Turning Point audience response system as the project was ongoing. Normally somewhere in the region of 80 students replied to the survey, and a full evaluation focus group was convened in April 2014. Students told us that their preferred means of receiving notifications about the module was by text messaging first and foremost, and then by email. The other channels, Twitter, Facebook and in-class announcements, only attracted about a 1% share of the vote on that particular occasion. Whenever students received a text message, we asked, well, what is your behaviour? What do you then do? And some students, about a third of them, clicked the link immediately. Another third approximately waited until they were at a PC and then typed in the link, and others, about a quarter of the students, waited for the link to be sent by email and then accessed it at that point. A majority of students felt that video feedback was useful. However, as you can see, there's still a small number who felt that video feedback was not really that useful. And remember, this is generic feedback. It's not individualized feedback on each student's piece of work. Students told us that they felt it was very important that feedback should be supplied so that it could be readily accessed on a mobile device. So there's a majority of students there agreeing with that particular statement. And that's despite the fact that a majority or a large number would have waited until they were at a PC until they accessed the video file. Having said that, at the end, given one choice, what type of feedback would they prefer? The majority of students still preferred written comments on practical work, followed by personalised video rather than the generic video that we were offering to them. So that again underlines some of the findings. Some of the comments that they received, I'm able to receive oral feedback while following along with the video and step by step on the practical sheet. However, in both cases you can see here that students preferred written feedback but felt the video certainly helped them with the likes of calculations and going through worked examples and so on. Our reflections: generic video feedback is certainly useful for large numbers of students, gives opportunity to put in other learning materials that can be pushed out to students. Individual feedback could be done this way for maybe smaller numbers of students on a more extensive piece of work such as a literature review, and there has been a bit of work already done on this topic and the link is given there. Final reflections: there's a number of tools available for doing screen capture such as Camtasia or Jing and Screener, which are free. It can be initially time consuming to create screen captured learning resources, but it is a worthwhile investment. Once they're created, they can be distributed widely in many different ways. Finally, just to acknowledge our students on the module and also to the Higher Education Academy Teaching Development Grant for funding this work.